What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we need to look at Stratagem Cards. You see, ladies and gentlemen, we've had our reveal of Wave 5 of the Transformers trading card game, Titan Masters Attack, and in it we have Stratagem Cards, and I showed you one Stratagem card the other day. We were left with a series of questions. Now, the lovely Can Nagel has done and written an article and explained a lot about Stratagem Cards and give us another example of a Stratagem card. So I'm going to show you the new one. Obviously, it'd be weird if I didn't. But what I really want to do this video is talk about Stratagem Cards and what they are and why we're getting them and how they're going to shake up the game and why I'm super excited. So let's do it, shall we? Now, the one we saw the other day was Orbital Strike. And Orbital Strike read, replace a text 12 stars or fewer on your Autobot Cosmos with 21 stars or fewer. And it was a star card. Now, what it essentially did was it took Autobot Cosmos from Wave 1, which is one of my favourite cards in Wave 1, so woo! And gave it a boost, gave it a buff, made it better. Now, when you reshuffle your deck while attacking in bot mode, instead of KOing a character with 12 stars or fewer, it KOs a character with 21 stars or fewer. That makes it a significantly better card. I've given a bunch of examples. Look, you're still not going to get Metroplex. That's a little bit sad. But you are going to get a whole bunch of other stuff that you weren't before. Things like, the example I used the other day was General Optimus Prime, but actually, there are plenty of others out there. Wave 4 Jetfire. Jetfire has proven to be a really good card. It's proven to be one of the very best cards in the game, and Jetfire's rocking up as a 16-star character. Well out of range. You weren't going to get it. Major Shockwave, again, has proven itself to be one of the best cards in the game, but it's rocking up as a 14-star character, so you're not getting the KO there. And now you are. You've still got to make sure you reshuffle your deck at the right time, blah, 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 blah. My point is very simply, you are now getting a lot of characters you weren't before. But we were left with some questions. One answer we've got, they all have stars. So we saw that this has a star. We'll see Swap Heads in a minute. That has a star. All of these cards have stars. Lovely. Now, the wording on the bottom of Orbital Strike was slightly confusing. Play up to one stratagem with a named character. Stratagems begin on the battlefield. And the rule is you can only have one of each stratagem, but you can play multiple different stratagems. The one question we don't really have an answer to, what if we have multiple Autobot Cosmos stratagems? So as it stands at the moment, right, it says play up to one stratagem with the named character, but we're told each one is unique and you can play multiple different. So what if we've got multiple different Autobot Cosmos ones? Does that mean that we can play multiple on, even though it says play up to one stratagem with the named character? I don't think it's going to be an issue in the short term, but I think the wording on Orbital Strike and what we were told is slightly ambiguous. But until they print more than one stratagem to meet the same character, it's just not going to be an issue. Now, Stratagem Cards do not go in your deck. They begin the game out. So they're kind of a little bit like location cards. They're not. But if you look at the video, I'll link it in the description. I did the other day about location cards. No, it's not double-sided. No, they're not exactly the same, but they're a similar kind of deal. Now, the rules that we're given are this. They can change the deck building rules of the game, add traits to characters, or trigger on a condition that is met during gameplay. And many of them have a bonus that can only be used once, and then you flip it over, signaling it's not active anymore. Well, hang on a second. If it's not a battle card, it doesn't need to have the back of a battle card. So what is on the back of a stratagem? Now, we don't have any pictures, but it has been confirmed on the Facebook group that on the back of a stratagem is the artwork, but just the artwork. The unobscured artwork that you see, which is, of course, the character artwork it's used with, completely unobstructed, just on the back of the card. I could not think, literally, I cannot think of a better option. That is amazing. Now, what is really cool is firstly that we're getting 30 Untitled Masters Attack, 10 common, 10 uncommon, 10 rare. And secondly, that they're actually themed. So the common stratagems help a named character card, like Orbital Strike helps Autobot Cosmos. An uncommon stratagem helps a specific team. They are harder to use. Now, presumably, they're going to help Dinobots, like Grimlock. Grimlock is my other favourite. 2 favourite cards from Wave 1, Autobot Cosmos and Grimlock. And weirdly, when I did my opening of the Energon edition, they were 2 of the rare cards I pulled, so it's almost like they sent that just for me. But we don't have an example of an uncommon stratagem card. A rare stratagem card is likely to help a character that is not in Titan Master's attack. So, like the common stratagems, except for characters that aren't in Titan Master's attack, which is very strange. Now, they do say in the article it will take much effort to play with these cards because they don't work unless you have the specific character card from a previous expansion. If you have a favourite character in the game that you've always hoped to get their own signature card, these cards are meant to please you by breathing life back into these potentially forgotten characters from previous expansions. Now, that's important because it specifically says forgotten characters. So I don't think we're going to see one of these for Optimus Prime Battlefield Legend. It's not a forgotten character. But we're going to see them for things like Cosmos. And we were previously told, it's been said in public, that Volcanicus is getting a card to help it. I am fairly sure Volcanicus is getting a stratagem card here. Now, this is amazing. However, this is a rare card, and the only other one we've been shown is a rare card that doesn't help a named character from previous sets. So although there are 10 rares, and the rares is likely to help a character not in Titan Master's attack, actually Swap Heads is a rare, so there is a maximum 9 Cosmos or Orbital Strike, plus 8 not seen. So I mentioned Swap Heads a couple of times. It's a very different stratagem card to Orbital Strike. What does it do? Once per game, when you flip one of your characters that has a character on it in head mode, you may swap that head with one of your other character's heads when you do flip this. So we've got an example there of a card that gets flipped after it gets used, and then you get to see the lovely art on it. As a side note from me, go and invest in some clear sleeves and maybe even some top loaders, because then you can have these out and flip them, and then you get to see the lovely artwork for the rest of the game. Maybe I care more about that than most people, but that will make me happy. Now, this is a very awkward to use, but very cool and interesting card. Now, remember that the hook of Titan Master's attack, other than the new stratagem cards, is the whole body and head and combine them into a character. I did a video about this the other day. I'll pop a link in the description. And what we see here is you take a character, and it's a body and a head, and you put them together, and that is what you play with, essentially, for the rest of the game. That is your character. But you can have multiple bodies and multiple heads. Now, the 2 heads we've seen so far are Flameout, that gives Bold 2, and Flintlock, that gives Tough 3. And that's where Swap Heads comes in so beautifully. Now, I said the other day that the thing I really like about Flameout, and again, I'll link these videos in the description, but the thing I really like about Flameout is, well, let's go back to the rules for a second. So when a character gets KO'd, the body goes into the KO area, but the head gets redeployed onto the battlefield as a character that is unable to flip because it has no ult mode. Now, quick correction from my video the other day. Less of a correction, more of a making it super clear. I told you that you couldn't use I Still Function to recover one of these characters because it's a body and a head rather than a character, and that is absolutely true. But I should have also, as an appendix, said you can use I Still Function to get a... Well, you can get the head back, because when the head is KO'd, it's actually KO'd as a character, and that character can be brought back with I Still Function. Not a mistake in the previous video, but certainly when I was talking about I Still Function, I should definitely have included this as a little appendix, because it is an important point to note. So anyway, so you've got these, and you've got Bold 2 and you've got Tough 3. They're the 2 examples we've seen. And I said one of the things I love here is that essentially you can be sitting there and have bold. Because Flameout sucks. Sorry, he does. Flameout sucks. 2 attack, 1 defense, 2 health? No! But you got bold 2. So essentially, you sit there with 2 attack and bold 2, and you try and buff it up a bit, maybe using something like Power Sword, and you just take one last swing to try and win the game. I.e., if I'm going to have a head go down, I quite like the idea of having Flameout then being deployed for one big swing. Because Flameout ain't lasting 2 minutes. But if I've got a bot that I really want to keep on the field, Flintlock giving tough 3 is definitely the way to go. So what we've essentially got here is, I leave Flintlock out, I've got tough 3, look at my survivability. Oh no, I am inevitably going down next turn. It is definitely happening. So let's swap them out. And now Flintlock can protect a character that isn't definitely going down next turn. And Flameout's sitting there going, okay, you're going to KO me, but I'm then going to have one big swing on my way out. Again, I don't think you can leave Flameout on the board for any length of time. Something simple like a Plasma Burst will just get a 1-hit KO. 2 health is appalling. But I really do like the idea of a character that comes in and goes, look, I'm here for 1 turn, I'm definitely getting KO'd. Marksmanship will be another example, probably a more widely played card. I'm here for 1 turn, let's do this. And then you're going to go down. So do that. Make sure that Flameout gets deployed for 1 big hit, while Flintlock goes to protect another character. Now, we've only seen 2 heads, so I'm bringing you this as it is literally the only example I can give you. We've not seen anything else, but over time we will. And more cards will be revealed, and I can give more and better, and, well, maybe not even better to be fair, but I can certainly give more examples, more reasons to play this. And it's only 1 star. Now, the thing that makes me weirded out a little bit here is that it's 1 star, and generally speaking, it looks like with a 25-star limit, you're only getting 2 bodies and 2 heads. But I can absolutely see many situations where you would want to swap them out. So I love it. Sounds good to me, ladies and gentlemen. Sounds good to me. So there we go. There's stratagems. There's a new card, swap heads, and a whole bunch of information and questions answered. We still, I think, have a lingering question about what happens if you have multiple stratagems that affect the same named character. But unless we actually get that, and I don't think we will for several sets, if ever, it's going to be an irrelevant moot point anyway. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Stratagem cards, they sound like fun, but I want to know from you, firstly, what you think about stratagem cards, and secondly, what you want to see on stratagem cards. Which effects are you looking for? So let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wossy, where we talk Transformers and a whole bunch of other games. And do please consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.